I repeat, real love, real friendship is not competitive. It is not, and you need to be able to identify that, okay? But before we get started, again, I need you guys to hit that subscribe button, whichever side I have it on, as well as the bell, so anytime any new content is uploaded, you will be the first to know about it. You guys have to get extra close to the camera because I feel like the sun, I'm going against the sun, and I want you guys to be able to see me, okay? Because it's actually like a glare behind me, but I want you guys to be able to identify so often. I actually, believe it or not, made a video on this a while back ago. It was probably over a year ago, or coming up on a year ago. I made it on a different channel, and the subject of like the other channel had nothing to do with this video. So I'm just happy to upload again because I think it's so valid. And actually at the time that I was making the video was kind of like where I was kind of newly getting those downloads, right? Of like really kind of like understanding certain things and wanting to share them. But you guys, I think it's so important for us to be able to identify that real love, real friendship is not competitive. And let me explain, okay? Anytime you're in a competition with anyone, right? It's a you against them sort of thing, right? It's who reaches the goalpost first. It's always a comparison of what you have versus what that person has, or there's no competition when it comes to real love and when it comes to real friendship, right? If someone truly loves you, that means that they want to see the best, right? They want to see a positive outcome for you. They wish nothing but positive things on your life. They want to see you get that job. They want to see you get that home or that apartment. They want to see you in that loving relationship. They want to see you get married, right? Certain things that they should want, right? If this is really true love, if it's real true love, if it's real friendship, or even family, right? This is something that people should want. And a lot of times, right, family is supposed to love us, right? A lot of times we identify or we see toxic qualities, I guess you could say. We see these certain toxic qualities in people and we dismiss it because of the source that it's coming from, right? Because that comment is coming from, the best friend that we've been friends with since grade school, elementary school, way back when, or, because it's coming from mom or dad or sister, brother, cousin, aunt. Because of the source, or teacher, pastor, whoever, right? Because of the source that it comes from, a lot of times we will dismiss it, right? And we'll just, it was nothing. No. At the end of the day, we are human, red-blooded human beings with emotions, with shortcomings, right? I always like to say we're all under construction. We're all working. We should be working on ourselves to evolve and be a little bit better than we were yesterday, a little bit better than we were the day before that, right? Working on ourselves continuously is what we should be doing. And because of that, because we are human, right? We are flawed. You are going to see toxic, right? It's just where we mess up is when we dismiss this behavior because of the source that it comes from, right? If a family member, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, if a family member really loves you, they should want to see you successful. They should want to see you, get over that threshold, right? Get that job that that will kind of really set things out for you. They should want to see you start that career. They should want to see you in that loving relationship that's supportive, and they should want to see you prosperous, right? But if you have people that are sucking their teeth, or, sometimes you could catch it. Sometimes it's not so apparent. Sometimes you catch it in like little sly remarks, right? Or you're kind of like, where'd that come from? Or you sometimes even expressions, right? You could see like where some people are very transparent, right? I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I could just read right through expressions. I could, not always, but a lot of times I do. But I'm back, you guys. But sometimes we're really able to see it very clearly in other people, right? If we're observing a situation, or even like, let's just say we're watching a movie or a sitcom or something, and you could see the certain characters that are like sucking their teeth or making certain comments. You would be able to identify it, right? And call it out for what it is. But a lot of times, because when we catch that certain type of toxic behavior or competitive nature or whatever from people that are supposed to be close to us, love us, then we dismiss it, right? Oh, so-and-so, they didn't really mean it, or they just have a way, or they said it, but like literally it's everything but what it actually is, right? The tea or the coffee is not coffee, it's not tea, it's water. It's not raining. It's raining outside, but no, it's really a dog pissing on your leg. You know what I mean? Like really, like we really a lot of times make excuses for people that we have in our lives, right? Sometimes it's under your control, right? In terms of who you choose to surround yourself with. Sometimes these are people, places, situations we're born into. Maybe these are co-workers, maybe these are family members, maybe these are classmates, right? But a lot of times, like I say, unfortunately, we dismiss behavior because of the source that it comes from. At the end of the day, and I've actually put the quote up, and I think I like reposted it from someone else who probably reposted it from someone else, but it was just saying something about like a flower not blooming. If a flower doesn't bloom, you don't change the flower, you change the environment. And it's kind of the same thing, right? Like if you have certain goals, certain things that you want in your life, right? Maybe you want that dream career. Maybe you want to spread your wings and move to a new city, or maybe you want to, you're really happy in that loving relationship and you're hoping for marriage, or you do not want to surround yourself with toxicity. Okay, and I'm going to use a few different examples, right? If you are in a positive relationship and you want marriage and you want this and that, and you are bringing that significant other around, or making them a little too familiar with family, friends, family that is competitive with you, right? Should be supportive, should want to see, you make it to the chapel, right? With the ring on your finger and the I do's. They should want to see that, but instead they're competitive. And maybe they may make certain comments in that person's presence, or little sly comments, or just do things to basically put roadblocks, right? Create roadblocks or obstacles where there should be none. It's not healthy. It doesn't mean that you won't wind up marrying the person. It doesn't mean that you won't be in that relationship for a long time, but you surrounding yourself with toxicity, I don't care if it's coming from friends, I don't care if it's coming from family, I don't care if it's coming from whoever, teacher, pastor, whoever, you surrounding yourself with people that are in competition with you, it doesn't mean you won't reach your goalpost, but it only can create a hindrance, a roadblock. First thing is to be able to identify it for what it is. It doesn't mean like there's no one that's perfect, right? Sometimes even in our own selves, we will catch that maybe we're being a little, jealous, or, just whatever. And when you do that, you gotta, what they say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, you need to really hone in on why do you, the best example I could give, and I used this example before, you could call it cheesy, but to me, it makes so much sense, right? Okay, we're gonna take the Kardashian family, okay? as huge as they are, each one of those sisters actually has built a name, right, or a brand in and of itself, right? Like one sister's success is not taking away from the next sister's success or taking a, you know what I mean? Like there may be one that might be getting a little bit more shine, but one sister reaching one plateau is not stopping the next one from reaching a plateau or stopping the other one from getting a lot of shine. Like literally, there is enough room. This world is so abundant, right? God is so generous. This world is so abundant that anytime you feel jealousy, right, is really more of a scarcity mindset is really what it is, because you feel like because that person has reached a goal before you have, or that person has this or that somehow it takes away, or somehow it becomes harder for you to reach that goal post, or you reaching that goal post somehow is not as significant. And that's just simply not the case. That's a scarcity mindset. And it also comes where you need to really like hone in and really focus in on, why do you feel that way? Is it that you're not putting in enough energy, effort behind reaching your own personal goals, right? Because it's always easier to sit back and hate on other people that are making movements, right? Making moves, right? Because a lot of times, many of us sit in I will one day, eventually, or we wait for everything to be perfect, right? We think that, this has to be in place and that has to be in place and then once everything's in place, then we'll be able, and there is never a perfect time. If you think back on any time in your life, even like the most wonderful time, I'm sure somewhere in the background there were some obstacles, there were some things that were going on in that chapter of your life that it just was, right? So there is never a perfect time to go after your dreams. There's never a perfect time to start that career. It's never a perfect time to, a lot of times we think, well, I need to have this, that in a row. And then once I have that, and then I'll meet that perfect person, or, now, don't get me wrong. There are certain things that you need to be focusing in on and concentrating in on first before you could even stretch out to meet a spouse or be in any relationship with anyone else, right? You need to be focusing in on yourself, your own goals, and getting movement, getting momentum going with that, right? But a lot of times we think like, oh, this, right? I have to reach this plateau in my career first, or I have to have, whatever, I don't know, X amount in my bank account first, or I need to be, whatever, before a lot of us can have things very lined up. And it doesn't mean things can't fall in that way, but things happen in divine timing, right? So I'm saying all this to say there's no perfect time where everything just, it's just about starting. So if you find yourself sucking your teeth and hating on other people, like I say, that's coming from a scarcity mindset, because somehow in your mind, that person's success or them reaching their goalpost is somehow taking, you think, right, subconsciously, is taking away from your own attainment of your goals, right? Or you somehow, it's always easier to sit back. Like I say, it's always easier to sit back and hate on somebody about what they're doing, or analyze what other people should be doing, what they're not doing, rather than really focusing in on ourselves. If we put as much energy into ourselves as sometimes gets put into other people, and focusing in on what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they posted, what they didn't post, what they were wearing, if we put in as much time into really working on, into being like that 2.0, 3.0 version of ourselves, that's just unstoppable. That is really unstoppable if you can hone in that amount of energy, right? But I don't mean to digress. Okay. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say that do not dismiss snide remarks, comments. call a duck a duck. It is what it is, right? Just like how you could identify it, right? Maybe when you're in high school and you could tell like a group of girls are hating on you, or even like you're watching a movie or a TV show or whatever, and you could, one character's making snide remarks at the other. You could tell, right? Okay, there's a little bit of jealousy, competition happening, and it's no different if you're receiving those kind of comments from family, supposed friends, co-workers, who, like, it is what it is. But the point is, from there, is to make sure that you are not allowing yourself to be surrounded, right? Sometimes, we have to be able, it doesn't mean you don't love your family member, it doesn't mean you don't love your brother, your mama, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your whoever, but sometimes we have to love ourselves a little bit more, not to put ourselves in, as much as we could help it. Right now, if you live in the same household and you're dealing with certain things, only thing you can do is try to make as much of a distance as you can, find different ways to occupy your time as much as you can, rather than being in the house, if you can help it. But just in general, to voluntarily put yourselves in around because they're family, right? Or because they're my longtime friend. We've been friends since way back. We go back like, whatever, Similac, all right? We go back way. Like, no, like I say, going back to my example about the flower, right? If you want something to bloom, if you want something to bloom, whether it is a goal, whether it is just a positive outcome, you don't want to put that beautiful goal, that manifestation, whatever it is that you're working on, you do not want to put that in a toxic environment, a cesspool of people that are not wishing you well, that don't really want to see you succeed, because somehow your success triggers them, right? It triggers insecurities in them, or puts a spotlight on things that they're not working on, okay? So like I say, at the end of the day, call a duck, right? Doesn't mean we don't love our family members. It doesn't mean we don't love friends. It doesn't mean we don't love our coworkers, whoever, teacher, pastor, whoever. It doesn't mean we don't, but recognize behavior for what it is. And from there, then you decide, okay, well, am I going to continue to put myself, am I going to continue to share my good news, right, with people that are not necessarily wishing me all that well, because they're too busy competing with me when I'm just living my life, trying to put one foot in front of the other and do the best that I can, right? You really have to decide at the end of the day, the environment that you want to put yourself in, the people, places that you want to, people that you want to surround yourself with, environments you want to put yourself in. Do you want to share that good news? Do you want to share even that, even if you don't have good news yet, right? Do you want to share your goals with people that are competitive with you, that, secretly or just subconsciously are not, wanting to see you fail, because your winning somehow makes them feel less than, or triggers them and what they're not achieving or haven't achieved yet, right? Like, no. So, like I said, we're all on this journey together, you guys, but I really wanted to share that again, at the end of the day, real love, I repeat, real love, real friendship is not competitive. And call a duck a duck. When you identify, you see certain behaviors, you see people, that don't always wish you well, a lot of sly comments and things like that, or people, it is what it is. And it doesn't make it different because of who it's coming from, right? And at the end of the day, we have to love ourselves enough to put ourselves around the right people that energetically and vibrationally meet us at where we're at, people that maybe have similar goals as what we have, people that genuinely wish us well. And if you have not met that tribe of people yet, it's okay to isolate. It is okay to be to yourself. It is perfectly all right, okay? Where at least you have peace, you have serenity, you have your peace of mind, you have your goals, you're able to focus in on self, right? Not backbiting comments or sabotage or just, things that you just should not have to worry about. And like I say, if you are someone on the other side of the coin who finds yourself feeling that way, feeling competitive with loved ones, feeling competitive with your spouse, that means that you need to take a deep dive into yourself. You need to look at things that, get out of the scarcity mindset, because that's all that jealousy really is a scarcity mindset. You feel that someone else's shine takes away from yours. Someone else reaching their goals somehow means it's like it's not enough success to go around, right? Like, no. And I always like to think of the Kardashians. It's about 7 of them, 6 of them. Each one has, Kim's success does not take away from Kylie's success. Kylie's success doesn't take away from Khloe's success, and so forth. And so, you know what I mean? Like there's enough room, success, abundance in this world to go around, right? But focusing in on too much on other people and what they're doing, what they're not doing, their goalposts, how close, how far they are from reaching their goals is basically you pretty much shitting on yourself, right? Shitting on your potential because you're focused too much on other people, and it's just no. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a video, like I said, I've actually posted a while back ago on a different channel that had nothing to do with the topic, because at the time was when I was really kind of receiving those downloads, really kind of like seeing things for what they were, and I just really wanted to share it and hope that it helped someone else. But I love that this channel is specifically for dedicated to this type of content. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up, share it with someone who may need to hear it. And I love you guys. I will see you on the next video. Bye.